Achieving a new summit requires some kind of a goal. The absence of it means you're aimlessly living your life without a clear sense of purpose, or even a reason to keep going. Influential figures, both fictional and real, who have accomplished mind-blowing endeavors will most definitely say that the challenge required some kind of a start, along with one or more pit stops to check their current location on the map, their distance from the goal, and the eventual endpoint of slaying that dragon or successfully finishing a school project. Of course, these paths can exist as much as your creativity allows, and therefore the existence of less efficient and effective paths are also inevitable. If you want to become a professional baseball player, you should stop kicking the ball around and start throwing them. And so, today's question: how should you set your goals so that you can successfully accomplish them? Is there a best method that can be applicable in the most variety of fields? Welcome to Life Study Library. In this channel, I, Lye Yosh, will introduce you to these interesting and educational information about science and psychology that can greatly change your life for the better. By incorporating various scholarly studies and articles, this video will answer your question about the scientifically correct way to set your goals for successful achievement. This channel has many more videos of various topics regarding improving your life using scientific methods, so if you're interested, please check out more of my other videos and make sure to like them, subscribe to Life Study Library, and share the channel to others and let them know that this option exists. It's pretty clear that goal setting regarding athletic endeavors, among others, are usually the easiest to measure in numerical values. How much you bench pressed on day 1 and how much you've improved at the end of the year is way easier to measure than, say, how much you've improved on your social abilities. Today's study, conducted in 2024 by researchers affiliated with University of Lincoln, Southern Cross University, and the University of Wollongong, have dug deep into the question: how should you set your goals effectively in the athletic field? Although sports might have nothing to do with your goals, the content of the technique appears to work in other fields, so it might be good if you try this technique to set your goals. The study is actually a meta-analysis that produced a pretty reliable conclusion on how you should set your athletic goals to successfully achieve it. It covers various sports like soccer, basketball, running, golf, swimming, and even darts. So you can say that the resulting goal-setting technique is applicable in a wide range of sports. The general conclusion states that goal setting has a moderately positive correlation with improved sports performance, which roughly means that goal setting is effective. Pretty understandable. Next, the study looked at what kinds of goal settings are most effective at performance improvements. It compared various types of goals like process goals, performance goals, outcome goals, mastery goals, and ego goals. The results showed that process goals were the most effective. The process goal is where you focus on setting up the path toward the goal rather than specifying the goal itself. When you try to become better at playing soccer or getting a better grade, an example process goal would be something like practice or study for 10 hours a week and receive feedback. The other types of goals are also useful, just not as much as process goals, so I'll explain them in the slides for you to pause and look at. You can also see how these goals can affect your mental state. The reason why the other goals were less effective than process goal is because they all have some major component that's beyond your control. Even if you want to increase the weight you lift by 15%, you most likely will not succeed when you unexpectedly catch a cold. Or because you don't know how much your opponent have trained, your victory over the match cannot be guaranteed no matter how hard you practice. The judge might suck and can ignore your clear point, or you might fail due to pure luck. In other words, these other goals are all susceptible to the "I tried so hard but still failed" situation, which might shatter your motivation. Conversely, because the process goal pays much more attention to the process than the end goal, there are a lot of controllable segments, and thus your motivation will more likely remain consistent. Yes, the end goal might need to be specific and precise, but you don't necessarily have to lock in on how to get there. Depending on changes in your life circumstance, you can totally alter the path to get to that goal. Also, this meta-analysis has given us some immediately useful techniques we can apply when we set goals. Let's discuss each one of them. Number 1. Focus on making multiple short-term goals than a single long-term goal. Focus on making monthly or weekly or daily goals and have a very flexible yearly goal that's not like a solid requirement. I think it's best to combine the short and long-term goals into one topic. So like your short-term goal can be like run every day at noon for 20 minutes. And let the long-term goal of losing this much weight be the result of continuing that short-term goal, instead of making two separate short and long-term goals. The study also provides evidence that doing this will slightly increase the success rate of your goal pursuit. Keep in mind that big results can only come from small but frequent behavioral change. Number 2. This goal-setting technique works better the more inexperienced you are with that activity. According to the research, there is like a 2.5 times difference in the success rate between a beginner striving for a fitness goal versus an expert bodybuilder striving to lift an extra 25 pounds. Of course, the improvement curve won't usually see a plateau in the development until some time has passed and you've gained some results and experience, in addition to the more likely possibility that the expert already has some kind of goal, thus setting a new one typically won't do much. Number 3. A general performance improvement can be expected even when receiving feedback. This strongly ties back to the main claim of the study that by pursuing your goal in a process mindset, you can make many different pit stops between yourself and the destination in order to check where you are right now and how much you've improved thus far and how long the rest of the journey is. This is helpful whether you are measuring the process yourself or relying on other people to record it. Number 4. A greater effect of successful goal accomplishment was found when the researcher and the participant collaboratively established goals. This happens because of a sense of accountability emerges within the collaborators. Even if all the work to accomplish the goal is done by you, the participant of an experiment, a sense of accountability and responsibility can be made when you, for example, publicly state your goal to other people as promise. I'm sure this effect is still mildly consistent, even if that person whom you made their promise to cannot physically monitor you. This overall occurrence is prevalent in various religions, where the teachings of a watching eye nudges you to keep your oath. 5. A promotion goal is often more effective than prevention goal. In general, you can see greater success when you do something to act a positive behavior, like do 5 minutes of HIIT, compared to when you prevent yourself from acting a negative behavior, like when you're refraining yourself from overeating. By the way, the results of goals to do or not do a certain behavior can be amplified by looking at specific role models. If you have a promotion goal, something you want to do, like exercise more, you should look at positive role models who've already accomplished what you're doing right now. Alternatively, if your goal is to refrain from doing a negative behavior, you should look at people who have succumbed to that specific desire and view them as negative role models. This concept is discussed in further detail in my other video called Recycling: How to Use and Benefit from Your Haters. The title seems provocative, but you can effectively apply this concept when unwittingly interacting with someone who you dislike or despise of. Whatever reason you feel contempt of that person, maybe they're racist or sexist or plain annoying, whatever, you can benefit from the existence of that person by applying a prevention goal, by thinking, I will never be like that person. This can create motivation to pursue a goal, as effective as a promotion goal, in which you look up to a positive role model and strive to become like them. Okay, in summary, these are the ideal techniques to successfully accomplish your goal for 2026, according to today's meta-analysis. 1. Set 1 week to 1 month process goals like read 10 pages a day for a month, or do 5 minutes of HIIT twice a week. 2. Set goals with inputs from a coach or trusted peers. Their advices might not apply in your life, so make sure to check if you're getting advices from the right people. 3. Track progress, get feedback, and review goals regularly. If you don't see ideal progress, feel free to change up the path to effectively reach your goal. 4. When making process goals, let the end result be an accomplishment rather than restriction. Goals to promote a positive behavior is better than goals to prevent a negative behavior, unless you have someone who you see as a negative role model. Using this scientifically proven goal-setting method, you can make 2026 a year of ever greater achievements. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and share the channel to other people. This has been Lye Yosh, and you've been watching Life Study Library.